Okay, this DIY turned out really cute. I'm just taking a Dollar Tree sign. It can be any sign. This one had a frame on it, which I kind of liked because if I DIY the back of it, it's going to give me the appearance of a thicker sign and make it a little bit easier to work with, but I don't want like the crazy glitter on the back to be visible. This was actually a Valentine's Day sign. So I'm going to take some cheap Dollar Tree like wood vinyl contact paper and just cover the back of it just to make the back of my project look finished, and cut that off, kind of just leaving the frame on the back. Sometimes I just like to have my backs look a little bit more finished when I'm doing a Dollar Tree hack like this. Now we're going to work with the back. So we're going to paint the whole thing. Just the brown board on the back sign is going to give me a plain background, and I painted mine ivory with chalk paint. What I want to do is I want to make like a very kind of rustic, patriotic sign. Again, using some window decals from the Dollar Tree. But we're going to kind of try to make this look more high end. So I'll take you through all of the steps on this. I do want it to be bright white and cover up all of that brown on the back, because you know it's not really wood or anything like that. So I went over it with a couple coats of ivory. And then I go over the back of the sign with some matte Mod Podge. And this is the decal we're using, this great One Nation red and blue like flag themed silhouette of the United States of America. And I just make sure that's nice and smooth, and then I go over it with some more of the matte Mod Podge to seal that down. And I want to make sure it stays put, so I do go over it with a second coat as well, just to make sure it's good and sealed. And this is how we're going to kind of take this DIY, make it look more high end. We're going to use some wood half beads. I picked these up on Amazon, and they should be linked in my Amazon shop below. They are great to kind of make like a cheaper sign like this look way more high end. I always like to space mine out a little bit so that I know exactly how many to use and I don't get any surprises in the end. So I'm just attaching those to my sign with a dot of hot glue for each one of the wood beads. And they don't have to be perfect, but I do kind of secure the corners first and then the middle pieces in between. And then I can kind of space out the middle pieces in between those to try to keep my spacing somewhat even. So we're just going to go ahead and do that on all four sides. Now I am going to paint my wood half beads. You could leave them like this, or you could even stain them as well. But since I did like an ivory white sign, I do want those to be ivory as well. But I thought it would be easier to paint them once I get them attached to my sign. So I am just hot gluing those all down first. Also trying to clean up any hot glue if there was anything visible, because now we're going to go in and paint them. So I'm just using a chunky brush from the Dollar Tree to kind of get around all of the edges of the half bead, and using that same ivory paint, just going in and painting all of them. And see how it took like that, just that decal and that plain, thin, flat Dollar Tree sign, and it just kind of elevated the whole project. I think it gave it so much more character. So once I get that all done, I give it a quick dry, and I'm going to distress. I'm not going to distress with Antique Wax by Waverly this time. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to contrast with, or distress with gray, and I use like an elephant chalk paint. Totally doesn't matter. You could do this with Antique Wax by Waverly too. I just kind of wanted to see what a distress would look like if I did like a light gray. So it turned out really cute. I'm just distressing the whole thing kind of in one direction, wiping off any excess with a paper towel. I'm also distressing, the wood beads. And if I find that I go in a little too dark, I can always go back in with my original ivory color and distress it even more. I want this to look like a hand-painted sign. I don't want it to look like a decal. So I thought the more distressing I did, especially to the decal, is going to make it look more high-end. Now I want to make this sign a hanging sign, so I'm going to do that with some Dollar Tree twine. So I have that thick frame, so I have something that I can use my staple gun on. So I'm just going to tie a knot in my twine and try to use a ruler to find the center, because it's definitely not going to hang right if you don't get your hanger centered. And I tie a knot in both ends, just securing those down with my staple gun. And that's all there is to it. I think this one turned out really cute. I love the addition. The little half wood beads I actually bought for another DIY, and they were the wrong size, so they worked out well for these. It's kind of a craft staple that's good to have. It's one of the few things that I haven't found at the Crafter Square at Dollar Tree.